Good morning. In the last class, we were talking about the theoretical aspects of acquisition of business, that is, regarding the meaning of acquisition, forms of acquisition, purchase consideration, meaning of purchase consideration, the methods of calculating purchase consideration, and the accounting treatment in the books of purchasing company with regard to acquisition of business. Now, what is meant by acquisition of business? Now, acquisition of business simply means a joint stock company purchasing the running business of a sole proprietorship business or a partnership firm. And there can be two forms of acquisition. That is, in the first case, one existing company will be purchasing the running business of a sole proprietorship business or a partnership firm. And the second case is a new company will be formed for the purpose of purchasing the running business of a sole trader business or a partnership firm. So these are the two forms of acquisition of business. Now, purchase consideration simply means the purchase price paid by the purchasing company to the vendor, that is either the sole trader or the partnership firm. And there were mainly three methods of calculating purchase consideration in case of acquisition of business, that is lump sum method, net asset method, and also the net payment method. Now we can see the accounting treatment in the books of purchasing company with regard to acquisition of business. Okay. So regarding the accounting treatment in the books of purchasing company with regard to acquisition of business, mainly there are two important methods. One is a new set of books are opened, and the second case is the same set of books are continued. So there are two accounting treatments in the books of purchasing company with regard to acquisition. One is either the company can open a new set of books or the company can continue the same set of books. So today we will discuss the first method, that is a new set of books are opened. So in case of acquisition, today we will discuss the accounting treatment when the purchasing company is opening a new set of books. Okay. So in case the purchasing company is opening a new set of books, then two journal entries are required with regard to acquisition. The first journal entry is for the taking over of assets and liabilities, that is for the assets and liabilities taken over by the purchasing company. And the second journal entry is for the purpose of payment of purchase consideration. So mainly two journal entries are required with regard to acquisition of business in the books of purchasing company. And the first journal entry is for the assets and liabilities taken over by the purchasing company, and the second journal entry is for the payment of purchase consideration. Okay. So for the assets and liabilities taken over by the purchasing company, the journal entry is assets account debtor to liabilities to vendor. So this is the journal entry for the acquisition or the taking over of assets and liabilities of the vendor by the purchasing company, that is assets account debtor to liabilities to vendor. Now here the assets account debtor means, or the amount of assets account will be the acquired value or the agreed value at which the purchasing company will be taking over the assets. And here the amount of liabilities will be the assumed value at which the purchasing company will be taking over the liabilities of the vendor. And here this vendor's account means the amount of purchase consideration. Okay, so asset account debtor with the acquired value or the agreed value, to liabilities with the assumed value, to vendor account, that is the amount of purchase consideration, and the narration is assets and liabilities taken over. Now here there is one more point to be noted, that is if the credit is more than the debit, then the difference should be debited to goodwill account. On the other hand, in case the debit is more than the credit, then the difference should be credited to capital reserve. So while talking about the purchase consideration, we have already discussed that the purchase price or the purchase consideration will be compared with the net asset. And by comparing the net asset with the purchase consideration, we will have either to debit the amount to a goodwill account or credit the amount to a capital reserve account maintained or opened for this purpose. Okay. So when the purchase consideration is paid, the amount of purchase consideration will be compared with the net asset. And in case there is a difference between the net asset and the purchase consideration, then the amount will be, that is the difference amount will be either debited to the goodwill account or it will be credited to the capital reserve. So here, if the credit is more than the debit, that is if the credit, that is liabilities account and vendors account, if the credit is more than the debit, then the difference should be debited to goodwill account. And in case if the debit is more than the credit, then the difference should be credited to capital reserve. Okay, in case the credit is more than the debit, then the amount or the difference will be debited to goodwill account, and in case the debit is more than the credit, then that amount will be credited to capital reserve. So this is the first journal entry required. Then we can move on to the second one, that is for payment of purchase consideration. So for payment of purchase consideration, the journal entry is vendor account debtor to cash to capital to share capital to debenture. Okay, so for the payment of purchase consideration, the journal entry in the books of the purchasing company will be vendor account, who is the receiver, debit the receiver. Okay, so vendor account debtor to cash account to share capital account to debenture account. That is, in case the purchase consideration is paid in the form of cash, then it will be to cash. In case it is paid in the form of shares, then it will be to share capital. Then in case the purchase consideration is paid in the form of debenture, then it will be to debenture. In case the purchase consideration is paid in a combination of all these things or a mixture of all these things, then the journal entry will be vendor account debtor, that is the amount of purchase consideration, to cash account if cash is paid, to share capital account if share is issued, and to debenture account if debentures are issued. So this is the journal entry for payment of purchase consideration. Okay, now here also there is a point to be taken into consideration, that is if the shares are issued at premium. So again, while talking about the purchase consideration, it was said that the shares can be either equity shares or preference shares, and the share can be issued either at par or at premium or at discount. You know the meaning of issued at par, issued at premium, and issued at a discount. Okay, now if the shares are issued at a premium, then the share capital account is credited with the nominal value, and the share premium should be credited separately to a security premium account or a share premium account. And if they are issued at a discount, then the discount on issue should be debited to discount on issue of shares account, and the share capital account should be credited with the nominal value. Okay, so if the shares are issued at a premium, the share capital account is credited with the nominal value, and the share premium should be credited to a separate account called security premium account or share premium account. And if they are issued at a discount, then the discount on issue should be debited discount on issue of shares account, and the share capital account should be credited with nominal value. Okay, now we can move on to the problem. I'll read the question. X and Y were in partnership, sharing profits in the proportion of 2:1. On 31st March 2016, they sold their business to a newly started joint stock company. The balance sheet of the firm on 31/3/2016 stood as follows. Okay, so liability side and asset side. That is the balance sheet of the vendor firm, that is a partnership firm. Okay, now the assets consist of fixed assets 30,000, stock 12,000, debtors 20,000, cash at bank 8,000. Then capital account, X capital account 26,000, Y's capital account 20,000, then loan from Y 14,000, sundry creditors 10,000. So the total comes to 70,000. Then again, the joint stock company is formed with an authorized capital of rupees 2 lakh divided into shares of rupees 10 each. The company agreed to take over all assets and liabilities at a book value except fixed assets, which will be acquired at rupees 32,000. The purchase consideration is rupees 50,000, which consists of 3,000 shares of rupees 10 each at rupees 12 and the balance in cash. The company issued 5,000 shares at par. It also issued 7% debentures of rupees 1 lakh at rupees 95,000. The company received all money due on shares except a final call of rupees 3 per share on 250 shares, which were forfeited and reissued at rupees 8 each. The preliminary expenses incurred by the company amounted to rupees 2,000. The security premium account is utilized to write off debenture discount, and you have to give necessary journal entries in the books of the company and prepare the opening balance sheet. Okay, so this is the question. The balance sheet of the vendor firm is given, then additional informations are also given, and you have to pass necessary journal entries and also prepare the opening balance sheet in the books of the purchasing company. Okay, so we'll start with the journal entries. The first journal entry will be for, there are two journal entries required with regard to acquisition. One is for the purpose of taking over the assets and liabilities, and the second one is for payment of purchase consideration. So the first journal entry will be for taking over the assets and liabilities. So here the company agreed to take over all assets and liabilities at book value except fixed assets, which will be acquired at rupees 32,000. So all other assets except fixed assets, it will be taken over at book value, that is stock at rupees 12,000, debtors at rupees 20,000, cash at bank at rupees 8,000. Then regarding liability, loan from Y 14,000, then sundry creditors 10,000, and fixed assets will be acquired at rupees 32,000. And in case there is any difference between the purchase consideration and the net asset, then the amount will be either debited to the goodwill account or credited to the capital reserve. And here the purchase consideration is given, that is the purchase consideration is by the lump sum payment method. That is the fixed purchase consideration is given in the question, that is the purchase consideration is rupees 50,000. So the amount of purchase consideration is 50,000. So we'll move on to the journal entries, and the first journal entry will be fixed asset account debtor 32,000, stock account debtor 12,000, debtors account debtor 20,000, cash at bank account debtor 8,000, then to loan from Y 14,000, to sundry creditors 10,000, to vendor 50,000. And we will see whether there is any difference between the debit amounts and the credit amounts. So regarding the debit amounts, it was 32,000, 12,000, 20,000 and 8,000. And regarding the credit amount, it was 14,000, 10,000 and 50,000. That is, the total of credit amount comes to 50,000 plus 10,000, 60,000. 60,000 plus 14,000, 74,000. So the total credit is 74,000. Now here the debit amounts are 32,000 plus 12,000 plus 20,000 plus 8,000. So it will be 32,000 plus 12,000 will be 44,000. Then 44,000 plus 20,000 will be 64,000. 64,000 plus 8,000 will be 72,000. So the total debit comes to 72,000 and the total credit comes to 74,000. So here there is a difference of rupees 2,000. That is, the credit amount is more than the debit amount by rupees 2,000. So when the credit is more than the debit, then the amount will be debited to goodwill account. So here we have to write one more account, that is goodwill account debtor, that is the balancing figure. That is the difference between credit and debit. Okay, so goodwill account debtor rupees 2,000. So the first journal entry for taking over the assets and liabilities is fixed asset account debtor 32,000, stock account debtor 12,000, debtors account debtor 20,000, cash at bank account debtor 8,000, goodwill account debtor 2,000, to loan from Y 14,000, to sundry creditors 10,000, to vendor 50,000. Now the second journal entry is for making payment of purchase consideration. Now again, in the question it is said that the purchase consideration is 50,000, which is paid in 3,000 shares of rupees 10 each at rupees 12 and the balance in cash. Okay, so the first amount will be 3,000 into 12. That is, the 10 rupee shares is issued at a premium. That is, it is issued at rupees 12. So 2 rupees will be share premium. So when the shares are issued at a premium, then the share capital will be credited with the nominal value and the share premium will be transferred to a separate account called security premium account or share premium account. Okay, so here the share capital will be 3000 into 10, that is 30,000. Then the security premium account will be 3000 into 2, that is the difference between 12 and 10. So 3000 into 2, that is 6000, and the balance in cash, which means, so here the total comes to 3000 into 10, 30,000, and 3000 into 2, that is 6000. Okay, so the total will be 36,000 and the total amount of purchase consideration is 50,000. And the balance in cash means 50,000 minus 36,000, that is 14,000 will be paid in cash. Clear? The purchase consideration 50,000. Then the amount paid by share capital is 3,000 into 10, 30,000. Then the share premium will be 3,000 into 2, that is 6,000, total 36,000. Then the difference, that is 50,000 minus 36,000, that is 14,000 will be paid in the form of cash. Now we will see the journal entry. So vendor account debtor 50,000, that is the amount of purchase consideration. To share capital 3,000 into 10, 30,000. Then to security premium 3,000 into 2, that is 6,000. Then cash account, that is the balance amount, that is 14,000. So payment of purchase consideration. So these two are the journal entries with regard to acquisition of business. But here in the question there are various other transactions which are related to acquisition by the purchasing company. And these transactions are here. The company issued 5,000 shares at par. That is one transaction. Then again, it also issued 7% debentures of rupees 1 lakh at 95,000, which means 5,000 discount. Then again, the company received all money due on shares except a final call of rupees 3 per share on 250 shares which are forfeited and reissued at rupees 8 each. Then the other transaction is the preliminary expenses incurred by the company amounted to rupees 2,000. Then the security premium account is utilized to write off debenture discount. So we have to pass journal entry for all these transactions. Okay, so we'll start with the company issued 5,000 shares at par. Okay, then the final call money is rupees 3. So when the final call money is rupees 3, then the share application and allotment money will be rupees 7. Okay, so in the question, the shares or the par value of share is rupees 10. Okay, 5,000 shares and the par value is 10. When the par value is 10 and the final call money is rupees 3 per share, then the balance amount will be collected through application and allotment. So application and allotment money together will be rupees 7, that is the par value 10 minus final call money 3. So share application and share allotment rupees 7. So the journal entry is share application allotment account debtor to share capital 35,000, that is 5,000 into 7. So share application and allotment account debtor to share capital 35,000. Then when the share application and allotment money is received, then it will be bank account debtor to share application and share allotment, that is 35,000. So this is share application money due, that is share application and allotment account debtor to share capital. When the application and allotment money is received, then the journal entry will be bank account debtor to share application and allotment. Then when the final call money is due, then it will be share final call account debtor to share capital, that is at the rate of rupees 3. Okay, so share final call account debtor to share capital 15,000, and when the final call money is received, bank account debtor to share final call. Okay, so bank account debtor to share final call, that is on 250 shares the final call money is not received. So actually the final call money will be received only on 4,750 shares, that is 5,000 shares minus 250 shares. So the final call money will be received only on 4,750 shares at the rate of rupees 3. That is 250 into 3, 750 rupees will not be received. So the actual amount of share final call money received will be bank account debtor to share final call 14,250. Okay, so this is regarding this transaction. The company issued 5,000 shares at par and the company received full money due on shares except the final call money of rupees 3 per share on 250 shares. Okay, so that journal entry is over. So share application and allotment money due received, then share final call money due and share final call money received except on 250 shares. Okay, now the next is for the purpose of forfeiture. Okay, so again in the question it is stated that 3 per share on 250 shares which were forfeited and reissued at rupees 8 each. So now we require the journal entry for forfeiture of 250 shares and reissue of 250 shares. So the next two journal entries will be for forfeiting the 250 shares and reissuing the 250 shares and for transferring the difference to capital reserve. So next we require three journal entries actually. One is for forfeiture, the other thing for reissue and the third thing for transferring the different amount to capital reserve. So we will see the journal entry, that is the journal entry for forfeiture, that is share capital account debtor. Now whenever the amount is received or share application or allotment money or final call money, whatever it is, when it is due, the journal entry will be share application allotment money account debtor to share capital, share final call money account debtor to share capital. So when the share capital is forfeited or the shares are forfeited, then the entry will be reversed. Okay, so the reverse entry, that is in all the other cases whenever the amount is due, then the share capital will be credited. Okay, now with regard to forfeiture, the share capital account will be debited, that is the reverse entry will be passed. Okay, so the entry for forfeiture will be share capital account debtor, that is 2,500, which means 250 shares at the rate of rupees 10. Okay, 250 shares at the rate of rupees 10, that is rupees 10 was the face value. So 250 into 10, that is 2,500. To forfeited shares account, which means the amount so far received on 250 shares. So actually so far the amount received on 250 shares is at the rate of rupees 7. That is the shareholder holding 250 shares already paid the application and allotment money of rupees 7. Okay, so the share application allotment money was rupees 7 and that amount he has already paid. So the amount so far received will be credited to forfeiture account or forfeited shares account. So the amount will be 250 into 7. Okay, so here it will be 250 into 10. So here the share capital account will be 250 into 10. Okay, now here it will be the amount so far received, that is 250 into 7. Okay, now here to share final call will be the amount which is not paid by the shareholder, that is it will be 250 into 3. Okay, so this is the entry, that is okay, share capital account debtor, that is 250 into 10. To forfeited shares account 250 into 7, which is already received. To share final call account, that is the amount which is not paid. Okay, so this is the journal entry for forfeiture of 250 shares. Now the next journal entry will be for reissue of shares. Now in the question it is stated that this 250 shares are reissued at rupees 8. So the 250 shares which are forfeited, it is reissued at a price of rupees 8 per share. So here the journal entry will be bank account debtor. Bank account debtor, that is 250 into 8, that is the reissue value or reissue price. 250 into 8, that is 2000. Then forfeited shares account, that is the difference between the amount received on reissue and the actual amount or the nominal value of shares. So actually the nominal value of share is share capital account debtor 250 into 10, that is 2500. So here the share capital for 250 shares should be 2500. But actually the amount received on reissue is only rupees 8 per share, that is 250 into 8, that is rupees 2000. Okay, so bank account debtor 2500 to share capital 2500, that is a nominal value. So here the difference can be made up from the forfeited shares account balance which is already paid by the old shareholder. Okay, on this rupees 250 shares, the old shareholder has already paid rupees 7. So the difference between this amount on reissue and the face value of share capital or the share, it can be taken from the amount already paid by the previous shareholder or the old shareholder. That is, in forfeited shares account actually there are 1750, and here the loss is only rupees 500, that is the nominal value 2500 and the bank account, that is the amount received on reissue 2000. So the difference is only rupees 500, and this difference rupees 500, it can be taken from the forfeited shares account balance. So here there is rupees 1750 in the forfeited shares account, and this difference or the loss of rupees 500, it can be taken from forfeited shares account. So the journal entry will be bank account debtor 2000, forfeited shares account debtor 500 to share capital rupees 2500. Okay, so this is regarding forfeiture and reissue. Now the next thing is the company issued 5000 shares at par. It also issued 7% debentures of rupees 1 lakh at rupees 90,000. So the next journal entry is for issue of debentures of rupees 1 lakh at rupees 95,000 means 5,000 discount. So the next journal entry is for issue of debenture. So issue of debenture, that is bank account debtor 95,000, discount on issue of debenture 5,000 to 7% debenture 1 lakh. So the debenture of rupees 1 lakh was issued at rupees 95,000, that is 5,000 discount. So bank account debtor 95,000, discount on issue of debenture account debtor 5,000 and to 7% debenture 1 lakh. So that's also over. Now what about the next thing? Now here there are various other transactions, that is one is preliminary expense, that's payment of preliminary expenses. Then we have to write off the debenture discount from security premium account, and as we have already stated, we have to find the difference amount to be transferred to capital reserve. So some more journal entries are remaining. So we'll see the remaining journal entries, that is preliminary expense account debtor to bank account 2000. Okay. Now security premium account debtor to discount on debenture, that is 5,000. So the difference, security premium account, in case of security premium, here in security premium there are rupees 5,000. Now out of this 6,000. So out of this 6,000 rupees, the 5,000 rupees can be taken for writing off what? For writing off the discount on debenture. So here there is discount on issue of debenture 5,000 rupees. So the 6,000 rupees can be used for the purpose of writing off the discount on issue of debenture, and the journal entry will be, so this is the journal entry, security premium account debtor 5,000 to discount on debenture account debtor 5,000. Sorry, discount on debenture 5,000. Okay, so this is for discount on debenture written off. Now there is one more journal entry, that is the forfeited shares account balance, it should be transferred to capital reserve. Now what about the forfeited shares account balance? We know in forfeited shares account, where is the forfeited shares account? Here it is. So in forfeited shares account there is 1,750, and out of this 1,750, this rupees 500 we have used for the purpose of writing off the loss on reissue. So 1,750 minus 500, that is loss on reissue, the remaining balance is 1,250. Now this rupees 1,250, it will be transferred to capital reserve account. So the last journal entry is for transferring the forfeited shares account balance, that is forfeited shares account debtor to capital reserve 1,250. Okay, so these are the journal entries. First journal entry for taking over assets and liabilities, second journal entry for payment of purchase consideration, then third for application allotment money due, then application allotment money received, final call money due, final call money received, then forfeiture of shares, reissue of shares, issue of debentures, then preliminary expenses paid off, then writing of the discount on issue from or by using security premium, and finally transferring the forfeited share account to the capital reserve account. So these are the journal entries. Now we have to prepare an account, that is bank account. So there are various transactions related to bank and we have to prepare a bank account. Okay. So this is the bank account. So bank account to vendor 8,000, that is the opening balance. So to vendor 8,000. Then comes share application allotment money received 35,000. Share final call money received 14,250. Then to share capital, that is the amount received on reissue. Then to 7% debentures, that is 95,000 issue of debentures. Okay, 8,000 opening balance, or either you can write to balance brought down to vendor or balance brought down, that is opening balance 8,000. Share application allotment money 35,000. Final call money received 14,250. Share capital, that is the amount received on reissue 2,000. Amount received on issue of debenture 95,000. Now here by vendor, that is 14,000 rupees. That is 14,000 rupees paid to the vendor about purchase consideration. That is, as purchase consideration, the purchasing company has paid to the vendor 14,000 rupees. So to vendor, that is by vendor 14,000, the amount paid to the vendor 14,000. Then comes preliminary expenses 2,000. Then we can balance the bank account, that is the balancing figure. Balance carried on will be 1,38,250. Clear? So this bank account is prepared simply because we have made several transactions relating to bank. So in order to know the closing balance of bank account, we have to prepare a bank account. So to vendor, that is the amount of cash acquired from the partnership firm, that is to vendor 8,000. Then to share application allotment money received, share final call money received, amount received on issue, reissue of shares, on issue of debentures, then purchase consideration paid, preliminary expenses paid off, and the balance amount will be 1,38,250, and this is the closing balance of bank. Okay. Now the journal entries and the account is over. Now you have to prepare the balance sheet. Okay. Now we can move on to the preparation of balance sheet. Now this is the balance sheet. That is, there is asset items and the liability items, and we will start with equity and liability. Now regarding the equity and liability, the first item is shareholders fund, and under shareholders fund there will be share capital, reserves and surplus, then non-current liability, long-term borrowings, current liabilities, short-term borrowings, and trade payables. Okay, so these are the items coming in the balance sheet under equity and liabilities. Now all these things are explained in note to accounts, that is item 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now we will see the note to accounts. So this is the note to account. Okay, share capital. Authorized capital is 20,000 equity shares of rupees 10, that is 2 lakh. Then issued, subscribed and paid up capital 8,000 equity shares of rupees 10. Now what about this 8,000 rupees? That is 5,000 issued to the public and 3,000 issued to the vendor company as purchase consideration. Okay, so the total shares issued will be the purchase consideration, that is 3,000 shares. Now again the company issued 5,000 shares. So the total comes to 8,000, that is 3,000 plus 5,000, 8,000 shares. Okay, so yeah, 8,000 equity shares at the rate of rupees 10, 80,000. Okay, now reserves and surplus. Now here the reserves and surplus consists of security premium. So in the security premium account there was 6,000 rupees, and the 5,000 rupees was utilized for the purpose of writing off the discount on issue of debenture. So the difference will be 1,000. Then again capital reserve. Now in capital reserve the balance amount was 1,750, that is the balance of forfeited shares, then minus 500, that is loss on reissue, and the difference was 1,250. So the total amount coming under reserves and surplus comes to security premium 1,000 and capital reserve 1,250. So the total comes to 2,250. Okay. Then long-term borrowings, that is 7% debenture 1 lakh. 5,000 was discount, but the nominal value was 1 lakh. So 7% debenture 1 lakh. Then trade payables, that is creditors, that is the amount acquired from the vendor, 10,000. Then other current liabilities, that is interest on, sorry, there are no other current liabilities, I'm sorry. So I'm sorry, that was a mistake. That is long-term borrowing, 7% debentures, 1 lakh. Then again, there is short-term borrowings, that is loan from Y. So here, there was loan from Y, that is rupees, 14,000. Short-term borrowings means loan from Y, rupees 14,000. So this is the amount of short-term borrowings. Okay. Then trade payables, that is the amount of creditors. Now these two values, that is loan from Y and creditors, both were taken over from the vendor, that is loan from Y, rupees 14,000 and creditors rupees 10,000. Okay. So here we'll see the balance sheet, that is shareholders fund, share capital account 80,000, reserves and surplus 2,250. Then non-current liabilities, that is long-term borrowings rupees 1 lakh. Then current liabilities, short-term borrowings 14,000. Then trade payables 10,000. So this is regarding the equity and liability. Now we will see the asset side. That is under assets there will be non-current assets and current assets. Now here there are note to account number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now in note to account of or note to account regarding the liabilities, there is 1 share capital, 2 reserves and surplus, 3 long-term borrowings, 4 short-term borrowings, then 5 trade payables. Then we will continue with the 6th one, that is 6 tangible assets, then 7 intangible assets, 8 inventory, 9 trade receivables, 10 cash and cash equivalents, and 11 other current assets. Now tangible assets, that is fixed asset of rupees 32,000 which is acquired from the vendor. Then again intangible asset, that was a difference of rupees 2,000 from the journal, that is goodwill rupees 2,000. Then inventory, that is stock acquired from the vendor 12,000. Then trade receivables, again debtors acquired from the vendor 20,000. Then cash and cash equivalents, that is cash at bank, that was the closing balance of bank account. So we have already prepared a bank account and the closing balance was 1,38,250. Then finally other current assets, that is preliminary expenses paid by the purchasing company rupees 2,000. So these are the items of asset, that is tangible asset 32,000, intangible, that is goodwill 2,000, inventory stock 12,000, trade receivables debtors 20,000, cash and cash equivalents, that is cash at bank 1,38,250, and under current assets preliminary expenses 2,000. So these are the asset items. So non-current assets, fixed assets, tangible 32,000, intangible 2,000. Under current assets, inventories 12,000, trade receivables 20,000, cash and cash equivalents 1,38,250, other current assets 2,000. So the total will be 83,55,000. Sorry. So the total will be, so the balance sheet total is 2,06,250. That is liability total, equity and liability total 2,06,250, and the assets 2,06,250. So the balance sheet total comes to 2,06,250. Okay. So we have passed the journal entries, then prepared a bank account, then finally prepared the balance sheet with note to account. Okay. Thank you.